Great marijuana. That is the purpose of this meeting, ladies and gentlemen.
Marijuana is referred to as Mary Jane, pot, weed, or tea.
That Michoacan, man, Acapulco Gold, man. I even smoke that tight stick.
We're smoking reefer.
The weirdest thing smoking on the internet. The Podheads Webshow.
Camera on us. It's 420 on a hashtag Weed Wednesday. And you are in the Cypher with the Podheads.
Right.
It's your commander-in-chief, Frank the Tank. And as always, I'm hanging with my very best buds, JB Perez.
What's up?
And Big Ace.
Yo, what up? What it do? What to holla at what it is?
Feeling a very Ric Flair vibe.
Woo!
Feeling, pretty good. JB got me JB got me fired up before the show. With a couple of
Gotta
good
get
woos.
ready, baby.
So I like it. Yeah, it's good. Good energy. I like to have some good energy for the show because it's been a long day. We do this every Weed Wednesday. If you didn't know, WJHM102jams.com is where you can get all of our episodes, past and present, including all kinds of other cool shows on their page as well. Steel Waves Radio, I believe we're on as well. So shout out to those guys. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live, all those places. Twitch, yes. The WeedTube too. Near and dear to our hearts, a platform for podheads who want to share social media content. So if you're like-minded, log into the WeedTube. You can catch all of our videos on there as well. So shout out to those guys. Also, anywhere you get your podcast, right? If it's iHeart or Apple or Google or Spotify, we're there. We're there. We've got tons of fun content and interesting conversations and arguments, and it's good shit. Good shit. Anyway,
awesome. It's
going to be a fun show. We're going to they brought us into it, guys.
Yeah.
We're rolling the sleeves up,
cracking it. Let's do it.
We didn't want to, but we're getting dragged into the conflict.
Yeah.
And we got to talk Russia and Ukraine. But before we do that, we're going to talk some interesting stories about a police chief who faked his own death. You'll find out why in a second. We're also going to talk about what else, JB? I think a TikToker who got arrested by the FBI and crimes in the metaverse. So it's going to be fun. But before we do this, let's do this as we always do. Break out the weed wheel.
Best.
I hate that it mutes us. I think there's a setting to do.
Come on.
Oh, MacGyver. Woo! So there you go, MacGyver. We landed on MacGyver. If you're a fan and you've watched, that we leave what we smoke up to fate. And today landed on MacGyver. And we have MacGyver up there basically because it could be anything. Take some household items and turn them into something to smoke with. So Big Ace, what do you got for us, brother?
So this smoking device that I have put together for us today was inspired by the legendary Bunny Wailer.
Okay.
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Yeah, okay.
So I saw him on video one time. Rest in peace to him. Shout out to him. But I saw him on TV one day, and he was smoking out of a carrot. He had a hollowed out carrot with a pen stuck in the side. So I said, you know what? But I'll do it too.
Look at this. Nice.
Straight up MacGyver.
I took
wow. You got a carrot.
In that thing.
You got a pretty big, like a pretty thick carrot.
Give me my camera, Cash. Look at
so
it's green.
It's green. We're running on a green screen, so you can't even see the butt, which is probably good. But anyway, he stuffed the carrot for anybody listening on the podcast. Yeah, stuffed the carrot full of green. That's all we'll say. And it's a pretty big carrot. Like, you chopped up the bottom of the carrot about 2.5 inches, and hollowed it out, and then made like a. There you go.
Yeah, you essentially made your own
like pipe. An old corn cob pipe type of
style. Pipe.
Old carrot cob pipe.
It passes the test. Definitely MacGyver. I see you put some.
We gotta see if it's
is there a carb on that bad boy?
No carb.
No carb. Okay, let's see. Straight shot.
Straight turn into a rabbit over
right
here.
In the uvula.
In the uvula. It's a girl house.
Oh
wow. Oh yeah.
Oh, Big Ace.
Nice. MacGyver.
Works good. Holy shit.
Thank you.
Pass that shit.
And that's the power of the MacGyver.
Oh yeah.
Carrot, passing the carrot. All right.
Pretty much
wins again.
Pretty much proves that you can smoke out of anything. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
It tastes so good.
All right, let me give this bad boy a shot here. I don't even know how to hit this right now.
Oh boy. Yep.
Yeah. Oh wow.
You're
Yeah.
you're getting your vitamins and minerals all in one
Straight shot.
all in one
All
shot.
right. So pretty cool.
Got the old Popeye face going.
Oh right. Yeah. Exactly. Like the bitter beer face from those '90s commercials. It's smoky in here, folks. By the way, those of you online and listening, we want to hear what y'all are smoking. What kind of MacGyver situations have y'all come up with?
We'd love to hear some new ideas.
Yeah, what kind of fruit have you used? Any veggies?
Right.
I'd like to hear something that I haven't heard. I've smoked. Everybody smoked out of an apple, right? Carrots kind of new.
First time, absolutely.
Yeah,
First
carrots
time
kinda
is the
new.
carrot.
Yeah, I've seen avocado done. So yeah, see what other kind of interesting things are out there. But listen, we got to get through these stories because this Ukraine thing is gonna be.
Yeah.
Some of us are gonna be hated at the end of this show, but we're gonna see where it goes. Anyway, let's go hit our first clickbait, Mister. Bring us all up. See what we got here. The first story: ex-police chief. Let's bring this guy up right there. William. Yep. Oh, look at that handsome fellow, William Anthony Spivey.
His face has
Yeah.
scumbag written all over it.
Oh wow! Former police chief of the Chadbourne Police Department in North Carolina. He was charged with more than 70 felony
Got him.
crimes, and is currently being accused of staging his own death.
Oh yeah.
And this is what I thought was interesting because, like, of course,
Whoa! Look at that picture.
yeah, that's the boys in South Carolina. So they caught him a whole state south. You know, they caught him like 3 days later in South Carolina. Apparently, I'll tell you basically his charges included evidence mishandling. We got the mugshot right down there. Evidence mishandling, drug trafficking, embezzling, and so much more. Nearly a year after charges were announced, and these stories is according to NBC, by the way. Nearly a year after the charges were announced, he was reported missing on February 21st, right, a few days ago. Last known to be on a fishing trip in the Lumber River in Columbus County, North Carolina. Right?
I can see where this is going.
So, according to the sheriff, they were alerted about an abandoned boat.
Yep.
Prompting the investigation and an extensive water search by local state agencies.
Very nice.
So the wildlife officer spoke to people in the area and found that he was last seen driving a truck towards the boat, right? So family members described the incident as a possible suicide. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, he left a note. Apparently, they found handwritten letters and a .22 caliber rifle with a discharged round still in it. So nobody, a boat around, right? So, you know, the scene was
and disappeared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shot himself and fell overboard. The rifle landed in the boat.
But of course,
I like the thought.
yeah, state investigators, right? Used video collected from surveillance systems and interviews from people around the area that made it more apparent that the scene on the river was staged, basically.
It is.
Warrants were issued for him on Wednesday, and they found him in South Carolina. I think that night, Thursday or something like that. Yeah, they found him on Thursday outside an apartment complex in South Carolina.
Clearly, he's not very smart.
No, not at all.
Mean, listen, you're in North Carolina. You trying to get away with some shit, and you go to South Carolina. That's like a kid running away from home and going next door.
Sure.
It's Jesus Christ.
Like I said, an A for effort. Like, you know, what I mean, you've seen this movie
A for
before.
effort?
Well, I guess, you know, yeah.
This does feel like a movie.
He saw a movie.
D for effort.
You're right. He saw a movie and he thought he could pull this off, right? The idea is I will shoot myself and I will go overboard. Maybe the piranhas.
No blood,
Right?
Like,
Exactly.
what?
You got a better
movie,
chance.
bro.
That's a terrible movie. You got a better chance just disappearing.
Yeah.
Listen,
Just run away,
if
right?
you shot yourself, your body should be relatively close to the gun.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just common
Blood,
sense.
Yeah.
He didn't
Like,
think that
holy
one too.
shit.
And for a police chief,
Yeah.
Nobody
to think that way.
So
sounds
he
like
knew
he's
shit
being
was
dumb,
coming. I
yeah.
mean, he was a police chief. I would assume this guy has some sympathizers still within the police department. He was under investigation for over a year, and it wasn't until they found out that so he knew his ass was done that he took off. I mean, he was supposed to be in court, I think late 2021. The dude's had over 40 outstanding warrants for him.
Yeah.
So,
what a
yeah.
scumbag.
Yeah.
How does a police chief? Well,
41.
I was gonna ask, how does a police chief become chief being so shady and scumbaggy? But that's probably exactly why he got to that position, because he was a scumbag.
But you would think you'd be a little bit better at fooling the cops if you knew how the damn police worked. Being a police chief, I mean, give me a break. He's being held at $1 million bond right now, so I'm surprised that he has any bond whatsoever.
Period, right? Giving him a chance.
Yeah.
It's no wonder why cops can't solve any crimes for us, because they're too busy committing their own crimes.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
police chief. This guy was drug dealing.
Right.
This guy was selling weapons, drug dealing, cleaning up crimes. Like this dude was like something out of a freaking. This felt like Ozark, or like
he's taking out his competition. He's like arresting his other drug dealer competition.
Yeah.
Some little town we never heard of in North Carolina, of all places.
Bro,
I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I'm not thrown through a loop. It's like, oh, okay.
Dude, they said this guy took money and drugs from the police evidence locker constantly, and he sold over $8,000 in donated money meant for cancer patients.
Dude, no F's given. Like he just
stole
is dumb.
cancer money.
It's just a dumb person who doesn't think of the consequences of his actions. You're dumb.
Stop. No.
He is an idiot.
No.
Like you're
He's
a
a
police
scumbag.
chief. He thinks he
he's
can
not
get
a
away
dumb
with
person
it.
That doesn't know the consequences of his actions. He's a piece of shit, is what he is. He's a piece of shit and deserves everything that's coming to him.
Pretty much.
I hope they put him in Gen Pop so he can get, maybe fucking in St. Quentin. Yeah, that's what he needs.
The booty action.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. This is why people don't like the cops in this day and time. They don't trust the cops. When you got the leader of the cops who's supposed to be overwatching the cops is a leader of the scumbag cops. You know what I mean? Like this will never be fixed until we get people like that.
More
off
oversight,
the force,
right? We
More
call for
oversight.
more oversight.
Police the police, bro.
Yeah, and obviously that's what's
Have
happening,
to.
right? They caught him. That's
Okay,
what's happening
great
now.
point, great
But how
point.
long did this go on for, and
That's
how
true.
many people were wrong in the process? I'm just
I didn't know you were bringing this up today. Otherwise, I would have told you to bring up this other person. But there's a guy in New York who was the leader of the union for the cops.
Police
in New York.
union, sure.
He just got caught stealing over $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
from union dues.
There you go.
And everything like that, and he just got arrested for that too. So again, and this is like a deep Republican guy who was like, "Oh, Democrats are soft on crime and fucking Democrats
Oh,
this,
yeah.
Democrats
Of course.
that." And
I mean, if you're a thief, you're
he's
gonna be a
a fucking
hypocrite.
criminal.
Yeah, I don't think it's too hard to believe. But yeah, the fact is that there are some dirty people at the highest freaking places.
dude.
So to just believe that somebody is a politician, a judge, a police chief, is just honest because they're holding that position is just completely wrong. So
And
I
again,
mean,
I'll
just
say,
You know what's funny? The same people who think that the politicians and all these guys are just saints and they do right all the time are the same people that hate organized crime and criminals. And what is organized crime known for? Having politicians in their pocket.
yeah.
I
These
mean,
are the same people that are going to the Capitol to riot and then asking for leniency at the damn courts themselves.
man, you're not
That's
lying.
my opinion.
I'm just
You
saying.
stole the podium. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put a one up in the air for it. You said it. They're doing something about it.
At least,
And finally, so I appreciate that, but it just brings to the forefront, man. The problem is that there are a lot of bad apples, and there's seemingly nothing being done about it. And maybe this, but how many more? And how many people were affected? You said how many people went to jail specifically because of the actions of this man?
Yeah,
Who
how many
knows?
people got records, their
Yeah,
lives
yeah.
are ruined.
I say they're not going to be made whole. I'm sure about
No,
it.
of course not.
Yeah.
So there's just deeper and deeper and deeper. And until I don't know what the fix is. I don't know if it'll ever be fixed.
That
truthfully,
carrot
man.
back over.
Yeah.
There you go.
The carrot's on his way back to Big A's here. Got it all nice and sealed up. So, JB, let's go. Let's move on to the next story because I think, William Spivey, let him have it, people. Google that son of a bitch. And, he's going to jail for probably a very long time, over
Good.
70 felonies.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I want to follow up and see what kind of time he gets because if it's not at least 20 damn years, it's not enough. Yeah, exactly. And let me tell you, the Carolinas, I am no fan. I am no fan of the Carolinas. I refuse.
fan. He
Big
hates
Ace
them.
knows me. And not the people of Carolina, let me say that. But the justice systems out in Carolina,
If you let this guy, if he took a flight, he'd fly around them motherfuckers. If you let him.
I
He
refuse.
hates the Carolinas.
I refuse to step foot in either of the Carolinas because I don't trust them. And I won't go. I avoid it like the plague, period.
Sure.
I'm not gonna give any money to them. I'm not gonna go in the damn state. That's it.
And I hope your chief goes to jail.
Yeah, me too. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead. Next story. Clickbait. Yes, sir. We want to talk about the metaverse again because it's just never ending, right? This is the Wild West in the metaverse at this point.
Pretty much.
And it's buck wild. There's all kinds of crazy stories going out. And people are just they're mixed, right? They're on the fence about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's here, right? Facebook literally changed their name to Meta because this metaverse is apparently here to stay. I brought this story up. I wanted to talk about it, not because we've talked about the metaverse before, but because it actually involves children, right?
Yo, man, what up?
Yo, what up? Because it involves children, and I, being a father, who understands that the future of my child's growing up is the internet, is social media, is this kind of stuff.
Sure.
So I started reading, and basically the headline got me. BBC got me. Metaverse apps allows kids to enter virtual strip club. You said it, the Wild Wild West, right? Metaverse is the Wild Wild West. You can literally build whatever you want in the metaverse. And we've talked.
Rewind for a second.
Go ahead.
Strip club.
Yeah, strip club.
So now, wait a minute. No, because I want to understand this shit. Are they like you remember fucking Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, GTA, exactly.
Is it like that?
Yeah, and you know what?
Or is it actual?
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's imagine GTA with that in fact, a little bit of a worse,
got an image.
what am I trying to say? A worse look to it. Yeah, exactly. Look at that. That looks like 1960 Nintendo 64.
I wouldn't give a shit if my kid was watching that.
Okay, all right.
What is that?
Okay. This is a picture, obviously, of not what the story is. Okay, the story is that this BBC researcher wanted to a BBC from Europe.
Journalist, yeah. No, not that.
You guys are crazy. She was doing some research, ended up going on an app that lets you into these metaverses. She posed as a 13-year-old and was access to these places. It was a building in this metaverse that was a strip club. She, as a 13-year-old, quote unquote, walked into this building like you would walk into a McDonald's.
Yeah.
And things began happening. And the researcher basically said that she witnessed grooming, sexual material, racist insult, a rape threat. And again, the users knew that this was a quote unquote a 13-year-old.
They thought it was a
13-year-old. They thought it was a 13-year-old. And
they're chatting. They're able to speak to one another.
They're interacting.
Yes.
They're interacting. Their avatars are interacting. And this person's avatar was a 13-year-old avatar. And this is, I get the heart of what I wanted to talk about. You said Wild Wild West, man. We talked about sexual harassment.
I need to clarify for a second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the avatar's a 13-year-old, or she was a person who is 13.
It was an adult journalist. It was an adult journalist pretending to be a 13-year-old.
Yeah, she made a fake
who
account.
Has an avatar.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the avatar itself doesn't look like a young adolescent.
I have no idea what.
I have no idea what the avatar looks like, but to get into this metaverse, you have to create a profile. She created a profile and said, "I'm a 13-year-old girl." Okay. There was no oversight. She says there was no oversight. I walked into this place and immediately I was sexually harassed. We talked about this in the metaverse. And we kind of laughed and joked because, yeah, it's the metaverse. You decided to go in there. It's whatever. It's the internet. Okay. But now we're talking about children. My child is 5 years old. There's going to be a point in her age where she's going to be on the internet. If this is the future of the internet, right? Metaverse, she's going to be walking around the metaverse seeing things, and they might not know any better. We know kids see everything on the internet today. Is this the future of that? Kids seeing everything on the internet, but more 3D? I mean, I think that might be a problem, especially with no oversight.
It's called parenting.
Starts there for sure, right?
Keep an eye on your kids. Monitor what they do online. Put firewalls and stuff if you have to. Ultimately, there's stuff out there you don't want your kids to see. That doesn't mean that those people can't put it out there. You don't want your kid to see it? Keep track of what your kid is watching online and keep track of what your kid is doing. Oh, because I don't have the right to tell the next person what to do. Like at the end of the day, I don't like it, but I can't tell you not to put a virtual strip club up if it's not against the law. And it's not, you know what I mean? I can't tell you not to do the shit.
So you don't think there should be any like oversight?
There absolutely should. But what I'm saying is if there isn't, I can't do anything about it but monitor what my
Yeah.
kids are doing.
It's all about parenting at that point. And also, like, whenever you have VR, you can connect it to your TV. So anything that the person that's has
Yeah,
their headset on,
That's a good point.
you can have the TV watching. So you can literally watch what your kids are doing so
Yeah.
that you know that they're not doing anything crazy. It's just like the internet. Are you going to let your kid just be on the internet?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That's
Exactly,
ultimately
yeah.
it.
If you are, then you're
Then
fucking
that's
probably
on you.
bad.
Yeah.
It's like you got 10-year-olds with cell phones out there. And
No restrictions.
and
Yeah.
you got parents, oh, well, I respect my son's privacy. Bullshit. I used to check my son's phone
Sure. Yeah.
at least once a week. Hey, let me see your phone real quick. Just to make sure you're not doing nothing stupid.
Yeah. I think personally, these things should be treated like video games, right? If you don't allow your kid to, or movies, or any other kind of content out there, if you don't allow your kid to play GTA because there's strip clubs in GTA, you don't allow your kid to listen to music or watch movies that has nudity or violence, then you probably shouldn't allow them to play in the metaverse. I agree that maybe the metaverse should be for adults, or maybe they should have kid versions. I don't know.
For sure.
But at its root, at least for now, while it's still the Wild Wild West, parents need to freaking beware, need to understand what this damn metaverse is, what this actually is.
Yes. Yep.
So I think the ultimate thing here, education, right? It's hard to keep up with technology these days.
Oh, man.
I mean,
don't
my
want nothing
freaking-
to do with the metaverse.
My 9-year-old
Too much.
Yeah.
knows how to operate a tablet and video games and cell phone way faster than I can at this point. And so you said to yourself, there's going to be a day where he's able to pop on a helmet and walk
be
around
there.
and see what's going on. And these avatars, they have avatars that you could pretty much upload whatever you want. Some people look crazy. Some people are half naked. And from what I understand, what I read in here too, that they were showing, like talking about sex toys and things like that.
Exactly.
And, groping, whatever you can call it, groping, but
Not the metaverse itself, but like just with the VR units, they have 3D porn, like where you sit there and like
Oh,
the girl,
yes.
like, rides you and
So
shit
it's
like that.
already
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
So you
We're
already
there.
need to be paying attention to that. And there's already
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
there's already 10 million units sold of the Oculus 2 alone. So
Oh, you
that
kidding
means
me?
that
Yeah.
this is in a lot of families.
Yeah.
Well, they have the things where they have attachments where you can put it on your Johnson and it simulates.
Your Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm for it.
Porn and all that stuff.
I'm all
So
for
there
that
you
shit.
go.
Why not? Yeah, why not? But of course, like I said, watch your kids. Understand what the hell you're dealing with. Understand
Guys
what the
marrying
metaverse
their
is.
avatars online.
I think it's important to note that it is Facebook's metaverse. It wasn't Facebook app that allowed them to enter this. It was an app, a third party app, but that was available to download from Facebook. Okay, so while Facebook didn't actually make this app, they allow it. They allow it with no verification. You just allow anybody and everybody to come in. So I do agree with everybody. It's on the parents, bro. It's on the parents. 100 years ago, a million years ago, today, and it'll be the parents forever.
Listen,
But there has to be a little oversight from places like
you can't
Facebook.
say nothing on Facebook without getting banned.
Actually, he would know.
Fuck you.
Yo,
Facebook.
homeboy just got another 30-day
Listen,
ban.
Listen. You should not get- No, but I'm gonna tell you why. Check this out.
Predicate, Facebook
But
offender,
it's for stupid shit.
felon, bro.
It's always
Felon.
stupid shit. Like I joke about my nephew needing a whooping. Oh, you're promoting violence on children.
Yeah,
Censoring
Take it
you.
serious.
they're censoring
They're
you,
censoring
Yeah,
your
I'ma sue 'em.
your First
Fuck you, Mark
Amendment.
Zuckerberg. Fuck you.
Bro. Yeah,
But you know
Meta,
what?
get it right.
Again, you can't say shit on
And you're
Facebook.
streaming on Facebook.
Yes, exactly. Pay
Pay
us.
shit.
Pay us.
Listen,
Pay
but
us,
you can't
Facebook.
say shit on Facebook without getting
That's
banned.
funny.
But a 13-year-old can walk into a damn virtual strip club and see tits, ass, dildos, and get sexually harassed.
Yeah.
Come on.
Are these apps too big? Is this technology too powerful for somebody like Zuckerberg or for some company like Facebook to oversee
think
all
they
this?
can control it, right? Yeah, I mean,
I
it's the
mean-
internet. That's a great point. Zuckerberg, you think you're going to control the internet? The metaverse, the virtual reality place, is the future of the internet. While you went online and tick, 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 you're going to put a headset on, go in there and ask Google, or ask the person that is Google, hey, Google, so-and-so, and he's going to walk you to this building and show whatever. Imagine whatever you want. That's the future. So, yeah, it's fucking crazy. I forgot where I was going. I'm high. Metaverse, you can't control the internet. You can't control the future. Parents, be parents. to your
Beware,
kids.
yeah. Let's move it forward. Speaking of people getting in trouble on social media, I wanted to talk about this next story because we got to get into this damn Ukraine thing, but I think it's hilarious. The headline reads: FBI arrests a TikTok star after shoes seen in videos are connected to a string of armed robberies. We have a video. Check this out.
He was a rising star on TikTok, but his videos help police connect this young man to some serious crimes.
As Fox 2's Brandon Hudson tells us, he's now facing federal charges for armed robberies committed across our area.
Is that Beyonce?
This is one of the TikTok videos police say they used to track down a suspected serial robber. Police say the guy with the fancy footwork is Chosen Hannah.
I think it's hilarious. I love it.
Those white Nike shoes with red accents match the shoes worn during 4 armed robberies between December 1st and February 1st.
Twice, bro.
Police paperwork says Hannah held up the 7-Eleven in Commerce Township twice. He's also accused of robbing a Marathon gas station in Dearborn, and earlier this month, the Old West Tobacco in Novi.
You know what's finna occur?
In fact, this TikTok was posted by Hannah the same day police say he committed the first robbery.
When you give them back to
The criminal complaint says an anonymous tip pointed Dearborn police to Hannah's TikTok profile. Investigators say the purple and pink hair was another big clue.
Oh, God. So you wear the same shoes and you dye your hair purple with dreads. Like, it's
So you showing your unique hairstyle,
Yeah.
purple and pink dress.
you ratted on yourself.
And you're wearing the same funky sneakers. You dancing in your stupid ass video. I'm glad you're going to jail.
Yeah, you ratted on
deserve it.
yourself.
You're an idiot. You're a goddamn moron, and you deserve it.
You don't think of the consequences. Yeah, you know, you don't think of the consequences.
Like you said in your video.
Another guy who's, sweat the small stuff. I always say that. You got to pay attention to details. If you're going to live this guy, first of all, before you commit a crime, you need to ask yourself a question. Am I built for this? Am I smart enough to pull this off? Do I have the will to pull this off? And if those questions aren't like a solid yes,
you're out of dancing.
Listen,
I mean, this guy's confident though. I can't. He's not lacking self-confidence.
Nobody that dances like that is able to pull off a fucking paper like this. Okay, just
Oh,
his dancing should tell you he's not capable.
He's got about 150,000 followers on TikTok. This guy's pretty famous.
Wow, okay.
But he confessed, right? He confessed to the robbers over a 3-month period after the FBI held him up, bro. He's being charged with robbery affecting interstate commerce and possessing a firearm during a violent crime. He's facing over 20 years behind bars. So
he is going to jail.
He told on himself in his damn videos with his shoes.
With the same shoes.
You're going to be dancing all the way to jail.
Just moonwalking into that cell, bro. Damn.
What isn't the first rule of if you commit a crime,
like
you
trash your
throw
gear or
away
something?
something. Can't do it in your own stuff.
You did the crime.
We're not.
This guy never watched the news.
And if you're gonna have pink and purple dreads, wear a fucking hat.
It's
stupid.
again, you're ignorant, stupid. You're not thinking of the consequences. You're worried about your TikTok dances.
Like
you're broke. You're obviously
I
broke.
love
That's
it.
why you're trying to rob somebody so you can live this TikTok lifestyle.
Like up and everything, and then going in and still robbing people. But I'm in a wheelchair, a bright green wheelchair. Like they're not gonna find a bright green wheelchair guy.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, bro. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You're a dumbass
I
guy.
love it.
This guy deserves to be in jail.
I was
20
actually
years
surprised.
though. Wow. They probably
We live in a society where we live in a what?
No. I think that's in Chicago.
Oh, I don't remember what state. But listen, we live in a state where we are recorded outside all the time. You're recorded like 10 times a day outside. You record yourselves. We're recording ourselves.
Detroit.
Right? Detroit. TikTok, he put himself out. Again, my point is you have to be smarter. You're going to commit a crime where you don't want people to know who you are. And at home, you tell people who you are. Like, again, you're not thinking straight. People aren't thinking of the consequences. Not just this guy, but I think, when we talk about the Ukraine and Russia, you got to think about the future, man, the consequences, the results of your actions, whether brave or whatever. You got to think about the consequences, man.
Yeah.
This guy.
Definitely. Definitely not thinking about the consequences. Definitely not thinking about anything but being in that moment. I mean, Jesus Christ, guy. All right. Anyway, there you go. Freaking Chosen is the guy's name.
Chosen.
Chosen Harrell, something like that. Chosen Terrell Hannah, I think is his name.
Chosen to
So,
go to jail.
guys, you've been chosen, bro.
You got plenty of time.
And you know how it is, bro. I mean, they're gonna probably make him dance in that bitch.
Oh, you're gonna be dancing.
You already know. You already know how it is.
That's-
Have you
that's
seen,
tough.
by the way, have you guys seen these like Reddits and these Instagrams from jail? Because you know everybody in jail got a
I've
phone
seen
now.
them. Yeah.
Like the days
Maybe
where
some of them, man.
everybody, dude, everybody's got a phone.
Yeah. I watch those videos all the time. All those how-to videos.
Bro, they
when
be
I'm in
cooking.
jail. That's
These
what I'm
jokers
saying.
turned their bunk into a fucking hibachi.
Yes.
Bro,
How?
they were cutting a big old thing of rice, and they had
Into it.
lit some shit up, and they had it up under the metal frame of the bed, took
And
the
heat it
mattress
up.
off, and they had a hibachi. This motherfucker thought it was Benny Hanna in that bitch.
Oh, spice it up here. Yeah, I mean, I've seen them, and it's very interesting. Again, what does that tell you, man? Like, what is this all about? Like, what is this all about? That these things can make it inside. I mean, what is rehabilitation? Like, we are just so F. This world is I don't know.
Listen, if you're in prison and on social media, that jail slack.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who, how, when, why? Oh man, it's crazy. 2022, man. Roaring 20s.
We're already off to
here
a bad
we come.
stop. World War III's on the horizon.
Yeah.
You got these countries at war. We're about to.
That
it's about
midnight
to go
clock
down.
is about to
Listen, if
tick.
she want to try that stuff, they make it look good.
Hell yeah. You don't want to try it in there though. Definitely.
Definitely
yeah.
not.
Definitely. The World War III, man. We're here, right? Are we?
Feels that
It feels
way.
like we're on
We're really close.
the cusp. And it's a pretty scary time to be in. Because it seems like minute by minute we're getting it's an unprecedented time, right? The closest thing that we feel like this at least was like Vietnam, right? The first time we got to see first images of war on TV, right?
Yeah.
Then you had the Iraq war, and you got to see those images. And now, of course, you're seeing this conflict that is being basically live,
exactly, live,
unedited,
yeah,
unfiltered.
Yeah.
Despite there being, and I'll get to that later, but despite being a ridiculous amount of like fake and manipulated reports coming out, let's talk about this Ukraine thing, guys. How do you guys feel first and foremost about what is going on?
I'm saddened and I'm kind of scared. Okay, especially as a parent now, you think about, I remember when I was young, I was indestructible. I really felt like I could never die. Just a stupid young thought. But now the thought of your mortality and the people that you are responsible for is in the forefront now every minute, because we hear it, we see it, we get breaking news all the time. So I'm afraid in that regard that World War III could actually pop off and my child's future is completely different. Who knows what it'll be? And then I'm saddened because the people of Ukraine, whatever your thoughts, I feel like I'm always the David and Goliath kind of guy, and I will always root for the little guy. Yeah. That's just my nature, whatever the politics. So I'm sided in that regard.
Always been the little guy.
Just saying, I always been there. So I hope that this doesn't happen.
Why do I
That's
feel
how
like
I feel.
I've been doing? I'll say this about this whole thing, because I mean, everybody knows for the most part what the main story is here, right? At least thinks they know what the main story is. In terms of Ukraine and Russia, it's got beef. Russia's the bad guy, Ukraine's the good guy, right?
Sure.
David and Goliath, like you put it, and shame on Russia. But I think it's not so black and white. And I think that American politicians, I think American media are playing games with people's heads, and it's unethical. It's not right. And I think that people need to be very careful about the opinions that they form and the things that they say and post regarding the war, because we don't know everything that's going on.
Me personally, I don't care about the politics of this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know enough about it, but I'm of the mindset I don't care about it, in the sense of, for me, I see people that need help. Bottom line, that's all. That's where my mindset is. I feel like we get involved in shit and we say, "Oh, well, we need to go help these people because we have our own self-interest to look out for." But then we turn the blind eye when we don't have self-interest to shit. You can't have it both ways. You can't be the world's police only when it's fucking convenient for you. You can't be the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the playground and do nothing when a bully is fucking picking on somebody that's smaller than them or something. And then I just feel like the right thing to do is to help people when they need help. But again, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of shit that comes along with that.
Exactly.
I think to assume that it's that simple is naive at best. No offense to you,
I don't know enough about the politics to say this is how I feel about that. And that's why I took that completely out of it. I'm just thinking in terms of on the surface and what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that, you know, if one has the ability to help another, then you should. But at what risk, right? If your kid is drowning and a stranger is drowning, who are you going to say? You know, what's in your best interest, right? And I'm not trying to oversimplify the situation because it is very complex. This is something that has been brewing between these two countries, between these two parts of the world for a long freaking time now, for a long standing time now. And to assume to simplify this in terms of good versus bad, in terms of right versus wrong is just, I just think it's, I don't know. I don't want to say ignorant because that sounds ugly, but
I agree.
No, it's ignorant. It's ignorance. If you don't know about something, that's what it is. I'm ignorant to all the fucking political details and shit. All I see are women and children huddled in fucking subway stations and fucking women and children being bussed out of there while their fucking dads are going to fight. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm ignorant to the fucking details because I haven't studied them. And I've been reading up on it recently, and I can't speak intelligently about it from that point of view.
Sure.
So I'm just speaking it from that emotional point of view. That thing when you initially see something like, yo, that's fucking.
Well, let's talk. What do you guys think are the main opinions that most Americans have of someone like Vladimir Putin and his general motivation behind all this?
I mean, you could call it the propaganda or what, but I think it's clear that the world, right, thinks that Putin is the bad guy. You said good versus bad. He's the bad guy. He is the oppressor, right? We talk about, we hear the stories of him killing,
take over the world.
You know, he wrote himself as president for life. We've heard that headline. We've heard the headline of journalists being killed, poisoned, thrown off balconies. So we hear those headlines from Putin. So that's the narrative that we have. Dude's crazy. We don't want to mess with Putin because he's crazy. That's what most people say.
Yeah, exactly. The keyword crazy.
I think he's crazy.
Everybody says the man's crazy. The man's insane. He's
a genius.
The man is insane. And whether you're saying he's genius or crazy, I think he's an intelligent person. I think it takes an intelligent person to run a country. I think that he's got motivations that don't align with ours.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Yeah. He put himself in power. But we could say that about some of our own presidents as well. So we don't want to go down that freaking path, but I think that there's a lot going on. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing, that everybody's just kind of oversimplifying this good guy, bad guy situation. And I think this guy Putin, albeit might be, like I said, his motivations don't align with ours or the rest of the Western side of the world's motivations. What I don't think is the man is crazy or just trying to take over the world for some kind of power struggle. What I believe is that the man. I'm not saying that. Let me say this because I want your guys' true opinions, and I don't expect anybody to agree with me or anything like that. But trying to speak as unbiased about this as possible. Let me preface this by saying I don't support any kind of tyranny. I don't support Russia's, any kind of Russian conquest or any kind of oppression. I don't support war at all. I'm a veteran. I've been in conflict. I've been to Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and my opinion of my place and my position and the people I cared about in that war was very different back then than it is today. Now that I know more, now that I've matured, so. You can call me a hippie or you can call me a traitor all you want, but it doesn't change the reality of the situation, the reality of facts. We can be biased and say, well, this is what we want here in America, and this is the kind of government we believe this is the way we believe a country should be run. But that doesn't mean that that's fact. That doesn't mean that that's right. That's just what we believe. I'm not saying, again, that Putin is doing things the right way, but the fact is that he's got reasons that he feels are just. And those reasons, I believe, for the most part, are the fact that he doesn't trust the Western countries.
That's true.
And there is evidence that he boasts, and that I think historically that points to reasons why he is justified in not trusting the West. I'm not saying that he's to be trusted, and I'm not saying that his motivations are particularly, saintly or
but
good.
It's likely why.
But he's got every reason to mistrust the West.
I get that,
and I agree that to a certain extent. I think most people like that. At the end of the day, they're doing what they feel is what's right.
Okay, and so this person, although he might be at war with another country, you know that there was conflict back in 2014. There was conflict in the 90s. There's been conflict between these countries for a long time. And according to Russia, and according to Putin, and I know you can say you can't believe anything Putin says, but there's plenty of lies that have been dished out by the American government and by any country's government too. So who's to know what is true or false? But according to many sources, there was an agreement back in this time where the nukes in Ukraine were given. I think it was Mensa, right? Where the nukes were given up by Ukraine to the Russians. And Russians had vowed not to attack. So they're, you know what I mean? So that obviously has kind of the kibosh has been put on that. But also there was an agreement, from what I understand, from what I've read, that Ukraine would never join NATO. And I don't know about you, but I think that any country, whether we disagree or agree with their politics, would not like a country that they feel that they already have beef with joining their enemies, or at least people they have problems with, especially if they share a border with them. I mean, Ukraine is like the last stand. Ukraine, Belarus, and like Moldova pretty much are like the last standing countries that are on the border of Russia.
Yeah, I mean,
Poland, everything beyond that is part of NATO. Exactly. So if they join NATO, my homeboy Pat showed me a flight tracker. He's been trying to find information as true as possible, because there's so many false reports out there. So he's looking at things like air pollution tests and flight trackers to see what kind of real live data is out there to support what is actually happening out there, which is, I think, is genius. Shout out to Pat for that shit. But one thing that I learned from that was there's a ton of U.S. Air Force planes all up along the border, right behind Ukraine, all up on the border on the other side of Ukraine, encompassing all those countries in Europe.
Yeah, we just sent a bunch of people to Poland yesterday.
Okay, so shit is people are ready, things are popping off. And do you blame any world leader for not wanting that on his doorstep? Because I don't think we'd be happy if Mexico or Canada decided to do something like that.
Sure. But if he takes over Ukraine, then it's on his doorstep anyway.
I mean, I don't know how that. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I don't know if he's gonna take over Ukraine. There's reports that are saying that he's gonna split the country up between Belarus and Ukraine. There's reports saying that he's gonna take over. He's not saying any of that. He just wants to basically take out the government, replace the government. That's what he is saying. I'm not saying that can be trusted, but from their point of view, it is a military strategy. They're not aiming at civilians. They're trying to take out specific regions, take out the capital, replace the government, and that's that. Who knows what's going to happen? It could be good. It could be bad. I'm not saying that I support it. All I'm saying is that this is far more complex than good guy, bad guy, and the wrong move could start a nuclear freaking war.
Oh, yeah. They're ready for that. Bingo.
So why push any buttons? I feel for Ukraine. I feel for the people of Ukraine, but I also feel for the people in the Congo. I also feel for the people in Hong Kong. I also feel for the people in the Middle East. There's tons of people out there that are committing atrocities, that are enduring atrocities, not genetic, but like racial cleansing and genocide and things like that. And we don't get involved because there's no money in the pot.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And that's why it pisses me off that I just found out that the U.S. Air Force is just sitting there waiting for something to pop off, because that's my turning point in this. I don't want a single American life over there. Point blank, period. You want to send aid, you want to send bullets, you want to send fine, whatever. The day, the moment a U.S. person dies, Biden, okay, that's on you. This is not our war, and that's where I'm at. Okay, I feel for Ukraine. I want to fight for Ukraine, but of course, let's be real. This is not our war. I'm with you. I feel there is interest. There is interest. I
read something the other day
and defend the Constitution and its interest. Yeah. I think we are very interested.
I read something the other day and I couldn't check. The only reason why I didn't post it was because I didn't have time to check every source. But from what I did see, Ukraine is very rich in natural resources. I think top 5 in the world, and many natural resources. So there are economic interests for the West here, beyond spreading democracy. I mean, there are economic interests for Russia as well. I'm just saying, like I said, we pick and choose who and who we don't want to help.
We on this show specifically, we shit on our own government for doing these exact same things, for being hypocrites, for lying, for pulling strings, for saying yes over here, saying no over there. We recognize that of our own government. Putin recognizes that of our own government. So I can't get mad at him doing what he feels he needs to do when he sees a NATO force on the other side of the street. Okay.
Yeah, and I get it. See, going back to again, like I said,
I'm with you, Ukraine.
I hadn't been, you know what I mean? I work a lot of hours. I work a lot of fucking hours. So I've been hearing this, that, and the third, but I hadn't had the time to sit down and really read and go over and understand what's going on. You know, you break it down and you're like, and it makes a lot more sense, right? They're not out there. They're not fucking raping and pillaging and killing civilians. It's a plan and they're trying to make something happen. I get it. So to an extent, we kind of, it's not our fight. But again, you know, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
I mean,
it's not our fight. It's not our fight.
I mean, there are videos. Some people will hear what you said and say, well, that is happening. Some people will say, yeah, civilians are getting killed. The last report that I read, I've read reports all over. The last report that I thought that was, I don't know if it was from NPR or from like global, I think it was from a global conflict tracker.org, something like that, said that there was approximately 103 civilians killed at this point. Now, that's terrible. And over, again, numbers are all over the place. Millions, from what I heard, have been displaced because of the war and have lost their homes and things like that. And of course, my heart bleeds for those people. And I think that any kind of aid and any kind of, refugees and help, any kind of ways we can help without conflict, by all means. Absolutely. But I'm very fearful that somebody out there is going to shoot quote unquote, something's gonna happen where a false flag, or we're gonna freaking have some aid ship get bombed or something like that, and get dragged into this war, or we're gonna say that happened. And I just don't want that. Like I said, one thing that presidents take very seriously in regards to war, and you can look at it because they track it throughout every war, is public approval ratings and support of a war.
We talked about it on a previous show, how the president himself and the military manipulated shit because they needed to get the public on their side to enter World War II.
Absolutely, yes. So I'm just saying, people just need to be careful. Cass got something to fill in. I got a bunch of fake news here, not fake news, but a bunch of cautionary stories that I want to talk about here in a second. But Cash, our producer,
things that I saw was that Russia has already lost over 4,500 troops, which is, if you think about it, that's more than we lost the entire Afghanistan and Iraq.
Wow. Yeah, those numbers are accurate. It's not going well for Russia.
33 or 36 like that the entire time, and they've already lost 4,500.
And that's why another reason why I say Ukraine is doing a pretty damn good job of fighting for themselves. Let them do their
They've got
thing.
a population of 44 million. Okay. 44 million. Russia has an approximate population of 195 million. Now, 54% of that, here's a little factoid for you. 54% of that Russian population is women. The women outnumber the men. And there's a reason for that. It's not for obvious reasons. It's because during World War II, Russia lost over 25 million soldiers. Think about that. That is more than all the other countries and all the Jewish people during the Holocaust combined.
That's a lot. That's a
So
whole
Europe
generation.
lost an entire generation of men. And I heard people say, well, they're sending very young boys out there. Well, they don't have much else. They really don't have
That's
much
why,
else.
like, a lot of people say that America won the war of World War II, but I'm like, Russia.
No, Russia definitely,
did most
yeah.
of the work, guys.
And that's kind of one thing that I wanted to talk about too, and I'll get on later. Just remind me a little bit about the whole World War II thing. But I wanted to caution people about some of these posts because we're seeing a lot of fake news. I hate to use the term, but fake news and kind of bullshit stories that are coming out on social media that are riling people.
A huge problem.
Yes. Whatever you want. Yeah, that one's fine. Look at this one. I saw this on Facebook the other day. Miss Ukraine, Anastasia Lena. So apparently, you're hearing about this, about the Klitschko brothers, about Lazinski. You're hearing this about all kinds of people, basically being on the front lines, children with guns and people getting married just to, exactly. And this right here, she had to herself come out and say, this is fake news. Yeah. These are pictures from my airsoft tournament from years ago that was on my Instagram. People are manipulating these stories to get a rise out of people. And there's a reason for it. It's not just for likes. I'm telling you that there's a machine behind this kind of propaganda. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we got some other ones here. These images were from I think Saudi Arabia or Syria years ago, and they're doing hashtag Ukraine.
Exactly.
Another one for saying that was Ukraine, and it's actually a Yemen attack. You know what I mean? So
you just don't know. Like if there was an app or a website you can go to check, I would. But you said it. It's propaganda. It's supposed to pull at the heartstring, even if it's fake, and that's why the world's so divided.
The pictures,
they
put a picture of little babies crying. I saw one that I couldn't get up. That was a picture of a little girl, baby with blood all over her face. That's fake. That's from Syria, from the Iraq War, or from way back then. Dude. So you got to be careful. They put the pictures, they put the images up to get a reaction out of you, and you share, and you put your 2 cents, and it gets you all fueled up, and then you don't realize that you're committed to the problem.
If you really care, you would try to do the research.
Vet your research.
It's really hard.
Do some Googling.
Yeah,
it's right there on your phone. Don't be lazy.
You have to assume that everything you read on Facebook is fake. Because it probably is. You have to go deeper. If you really care, you don't mind going deeper. And if you go deeper, then you probably find out that Russia's doing what America would do in the exact same position. You said if Canada or Mexico teamed up with Russia, we would do the same. We would try to invade Mexico. It's just like, and you know me, I hate hypocrites. America's one of the biggest hypocrites when it comes to things like this, okay? Don't be a hypocrite. That's everything, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see America in this. I don't. Period.
Yeah,
help. I'm helping. I'll help Ukraine. I'm for Ukraine.
They create algorithms,
but no American troops
to reach out to everybody
over there. Period. World War III's coming, man.
Yeah. Where'd you say, Big Ace? Because that's important. Who's chiming in on Instagram?
Momo.
Yeah. Instagram.
They created algorithms to reach out to everybody. They know because they know what triggers the masses. Exactly. It makes perfect sense.
100%.
You see it all the time.
Yeah.
And, shout out to Momo. Shout out to Julissa. Shout out to Ro. Shout out to Tio Papo. He's on there watching us. So,
nice.
Hell yeah. On Instagram. That's right. And that's the sheep. Like, they create your opinion for you. As soon as you see the video, you read the headline, you have a feeling, depending on your personality. That's by design. You aren't getting the full information. They're being, those videos, those clips, those pictures are being chosen to be shown for you. It's an agenda behind it, whether good or bad, depending on your side. Again, I'm for Ukraine. They're the good guys to me in this war, right? One side bad guy, I'm for it. But let's keep it real. Let's be adults. Let's be smarter. Let's be woke, right? Everybody be woke. Let's be woke and read and Google and make your own opinion. Because right now,
don't feed what you're giving.
Don't for real.
It's raining. I mean, they're pissing on our faces and telling us it's raining. Don't fucking listen because it's bullshit. And I know that people say potheads are conspiracy theorists, but it's freaking true. Listen, Oliver Stone has a great documentary called, I think, Untold History of America or something like that. You guys know I'm a history buff. Anybody that knows me, I'm really into it. I read about it as much as I can because I think it's fascinating. And again, we had the Cold War. Everybody knows we've had beef with Russia. So many people don't understand why, though. You know what I mean? But don't forget that, like I said earlier, 25 million people. We had agreements with Russia after World War II to make them whole again. And instead we decided to team up with take German scientists for the technology and the industry. And pretty much screwed them over. And they were left without a baby boom, without soldiers to come home. To make them whole again. And they experienced depression because of that. And people died and people starved to death because that, and their country was ruined.
Not lying.
And of course, anybody is going to freaking feel some kind of way after somebody reneges on you, like or something like that. Yeah. So of course they don't trust us.
I'd be ready to cut you for reneging in a game of spades.
Hey, so we're all about fairness here. It doesn't matter what country. And I try to look at global conflict from just like, an unbiased thing. Yeah.
Right.
So I just wanted to kind of school y'all. I'm all about the history and the knowledge. A couple of little facts that I got that kind of hold on. I'll get to it. It's all good. A couple little facts that I have that kind of go over the what is the conceptions. I don't want to say misconceptions, but people's opinions of how Russia operates.
Okay.
Or how people feel about Russia in general, right?
Sure. Okay.
So one of the top things that we always hear about Russia murdering its enemies, right? You spoke about this yourself, right? It has a long list of several of Putin's early critics, right? Liberal politician Boris Nemtsov, right? Investigative journalist Anna Politkovskaya. I'm ruining that. And that exiled former Russian spy Alexander Litvenko, right? And that was the guy who was poisoned by uranium in London, right? Remember we heard about that kind of thing.
Far ago,
All those things being said that it was approved by Putin. You know what I mean? Well, people being murdered by the Russian state on orders of Putin, right? Well, CIA kill list is something that, have you guys ever heard of CIA kill lists?
Sure, I've seen the movie.
These are things that are established by the CIA since 2009, bro. After 9/11, basically, they established what's known as the CTT. I think it was Center for Terrorism Control or something like that. Okay. And it was like a covert thing that these were just released by the CIA a few years ago. But essentially since 2009, drone strikes mainly have been conducted with little oversight, originally approved by like Obama. And then in 2010, the average drone strike in Pakistan was operating like daily out there. Wow. One freaking happened to kill people. Right? Kill some civilians. So civilians, just like these guys, were killed, right? And a few months later, the CIA General Counsel, John Rizzo, basically said, oops, my bad. I'll take over. I'll take over oversight of this. So basically admitted that for a year, nobody was over having any
blowing
oversight.
Shit up for the sake of blowing shit up.
Basically, and even after that, we're talking about one person, the head of one organization that is deciding terrorists who should be killed. And if they're terrorists, sure, they're terrorists, they should be killed. But still, no courts, no hearings, no arrests, no investigations. Basically, this is the intel. Yeah, he's been given intel based on the CIA. And the CIA, the intel might be good, but this is one person making unilateral decisions to murder people on foreign soil. And how is that any different than what Russia's done?
It's zero different. And I'm reminded of a story where recently a drone strike killed the wrong person, period, and a bunch of kids too, because it's misidentification. Google it. It was there about a year ago. A school teacher was killed by a drone strike because of misidentity. And it was a story for one day. It was a story for one day. So again, we pick and choose. The media picks and choose. What have you done for me lately? Style. We the society's like this. We care so little, so fast. Like it's sad, truly.
What about the elections? Right? We talk elections. U.S. interfering in foreign elections. We talk all the time about Russia, right? For the last 10 years, all we can talk about is Russia interfering in our elections.
Damn you, Russia.
How dare they? Yeah. I mean, look at this.
16 cases
in which Washington sought to influence foreign elections by covertly funding, advising, and spreading propaganda for its preferred candidates. Often doing so beyond single election cycle. And look at this. And of the 75%, so they had a 75% success rate for manipulating elections. I mean, are you kidding me right now?
I don't know the facts, but I know that Central and South America is not as high on the list as it should be because of our manipulation of their regimes. So Google it. And the Middle East. Truthfully.
Look at this one. According to CIA documents that were recently revealed, right? Look at these numbers right here. The 72 regime change ops by the U.S. between 1949 and 2000. Most of them against democratic states.
Against the Western allies, quote unquote. You know what I mean? True democratic
Funding,
states.
Propaganda.
Come on.
And this only after they learned.
Look, man.
And this was only after they learned that like actual covert black ops and actively fighting in these regimes wasn't really helping. They had less of a success rate. So there was data on this.
The great thing, the one thing about America is that after a certain time period, all this information comes out. And this is fact. America does this did this, probably still doing it all the time. We manipulate our interests. We are interested in what's happening, so we are going to affect our interests.
Iran, Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Vietnam, the Congo, Venezuela. I mean, we have done this many times.
If you want to understand how all of this works, because like sometimes people are like, oh, how would that even work? Like, how would you?
How is that even possible? Yeah.
So there's a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. If you read that book, you'll understand everything about how this works, about how they send them in there and they will befriend the people and then basically try to ask the people who are in charge, like, hey, can we fucking come in here and we're going to install roads and electricity and water and we're going to get everything for you guys. But the trick is that you have to use American companies in order to fucking do it. And then they'll be like, no, we're going to do it ourselves. And, we're going to keep our oil for our people or whatever the fucking thing is, or, whatever resource it is.
What's the name of that book?
Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
So after they become friends of them, if they don't want to do that, then they'll go ahead and they'll find somebody who is against them politically, and then they'll give them weapons and make them go out and do fucking a coup, basically. And then once they do the coup, they'll install some right-wing puppet who will give them.
So they basically maps out exactly how it works. All right, cool. So you get it. You get the whole the premise of the thing. How about imprisoning dissenters? We talk about that, right? Oh, you can't say nothing. I heard somebody say it earlier. We were all chatting about this. You can't say nothing about Russia. They'll put you in the gulag. You'll find your ass in Siberia.
I saw a video today of a granny being arrested in Russia.
Right.
Throwing her in the gulag for protesting.
Look at that. So, so look, according to a list from the Russian human rights group Memorial, there was 102 people held in Russian prisons for their political beliefs as of 2016. Okay, and so so I want to talk about the prison populations in general as compared to the United States, but let me read some of these facts while you read those. We know that the United States pretty much involves in modern day slavery, our prison industrial complex, right? As you can see right here, according to FSIN, I think it's the Federal Penitentiary Service, that's Russia's 0.7%, or excuse me, 0.4% of their population is in prison. And hold off on the next one until I read these out. But as far as America's, listen to this. You heard about some of the Russian famous prisoners. Mikhail Khodorkovsky. I'm totally ruining that. The feminist, remember the feminist, the Pussy Riot chick? Yeah. Ukrainian pilot Nadia Savensko, Ukrainian filmmaker Olev Setsov, all these people for being critical of the government, right? Okay. Have you guys ever heard of Sylvia Gonzalez? Yeah. All right. This is a San Antonio woman who's jailed after running against the city manager in her town. And criticizing him on social media.
Sent to jail?
Sent to jail.
Oh, boy. Okay.
2018, Robert Freese arrested in New Hampshire for writing a comment on a local news website against this basically accusing the police chief of being corrupt.
Boy. Yeah.
According,
you went to Facebook jail, you would go to real jail in New Hampshire. Yeah.
Yeah. CPJ, the Center for Protecting Journalists. Okay, this is a an organization that reports on free press. Okay, according to CPJ.org, in 2020 alone, over 270 journalists were jailed around the world for COVID-related reports. Okay, the top arresting governments were China, Turkey, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, all of which we do commerce with.
Yeah.
All of which we owe money to. Well, not necessarily owe money to, but outside of Egypt, we do a lot of business with. We owe our asses to China,
So
and
it's
everybody
not
knows
Russia necessarily. Imprisoning. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
In the United States, over 110 journalists were arrested or charged in 2020.
Really?
And over 300 reported being assaulted by majority police.
For journalism, right? For telling a story, for writing.
You see it every day. You go on Facebook and whatever, you see these, the guys with the cameras, First Amendment auditors, whatever you want to call them.
Now you could say, I know, and now one could argue, right? Well, this is Putin doing this, and these are isolated cases in different parts of the city. But I mean, does that change any different?
Yeah, just because
does it make our country much better? You still can't say shit, and it's even worse now because you got people who ain't even on that level making those choices.
You say you can't throw rocks in a glass house, bro. Like you can't be critical of another country when you're being a hypocrite about your own actions. So you can feel bad. Yeah. I think it is fair to feel bad for the people of Ukraine, people sheltering with their cats in bomb shelters, okay? But pick another war where that didn't happen. I mean, right?
And don't freaking tell me that the United States hasn't done the same or worse. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that Russia's right and the United States is wrong. All I'm saying is that we need to freaking look ourselves in the mirror before we start shaking our fingers at somebody else. Pull up that next slide real quick. We jail 0.7%, almost a full percent.
Yep.
For every 100,000 people in this country, we jail 698.
We almost doubled their numbers of people in jail. So,
but people say, I'd rather live in America any day. I'd rather live in America any day.
Yeah.
I mean, I still say that. I still say that personally. All I'm saying is the media paints a different picture. The media paints a picture saying, oh my God,
just be careful. Man.
You can't do nothing in Russia without being thrown in jail. They got their people on lock over there. And again, it's not the way people are painting it. Cash, what's up, bro?
I thought you were gonna have the statistic that comes up that says we have 5% of the world's population, but we hold 25% of the world's jail.
That's a great point.
Criminals,
humans, or whatever.
Prisoners.
Quarter. It's ridiculous, bro. I mean, if you look at the poverty rates, and I don't have a slide for that, but the poverty rate in Russia is 12.9%, where ours is 13.4%. So our poverty rate's higher, and we have a much bigger population. Much bigger population.
Said there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Exactly. I mean, perfect.
So I mean, granted, we on average make a lot more money when things wash out, your average citizen here, than they do in Russia.
Inflation 7.5% today, you told me.
Inflation has hit an all-time high. And if you think about it, the government out there controls the way people charge, the way things are. There's an oligarchy, and there are rich fat cats. Russia has per capita the highest amount of billionaires in the world. So there's corruption out there, and I'm not trying to say there isn't, but at least there's one guy saying, you know what, the price of freaking milk and the price of gas and the price of this can't change every damn day. Whereas capitalism does claim many freaking people. The little guy freaking starves out here. We got a lot of people starving out here. So like I said, before we go trying to fix the rest of the world's problems,
let's fix ours.
Before we start a nuclear war, please. And do some research about what the hell you're reading. Don't be fooled. Yeah, it's not about the government. I'm not saying that I'm not anti-US government. I love this country, but all I'm saying is that don't be a freaking hypocrite and don't believe in what the media is trying to feed you. I think that is bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Everybody has an opinion on the war because it's happening live on your phone. You can see things happening, whether it's real or not. That's something that's we've never dealt with before. False information from war, like that is unheard of. We don't know how to cope. So you have to be very careful. So yes, you can have an opinion about the war, okay? But you have to. You can't be Mr. Planet. You can't be Mr. Universe. You live here, and you have to take care of your own. And our people in America, we have to look out for us. This is not our war. This is not our war. I don't want American troops. We got shit to take care of here, man.
I support Ukraine again. Send aid, all that stuff, but don't get involved in the war.
Help them. Sure. I want to help every single refugee in the world because that's how I feel. So I want that. But war, this is not ours. Because if we do, especially if America, that's World War III right
Like
there.
a wise man once said, war.
What is it
What
good
is it good for?
Huh.
Good God, y'all.
Love and peace, right?
Anyway, I think that's a show,
one,
guys.
yeah.
We're a little over. That was fun, right?
Hey.
We got our piece. Love us or hate us. I'm sure you'll destroy us in the comments one way or the other.
Yeah.
But do comment anyway. We want to know what you think, regardless. Maybe I'm a jackass.
I love you guys.
Enlighten me. Educate me. I'm all for it. You should be for it too.
Definitely.
JB?
Yeah, we
Big
love you
Ace?
guys. Thank you. See you next
So next
time.
week, Wednesday, it's the Podheads.
Peace. Boyaka, boyaka, boyaka.